Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. It is Thursday, October 20th, 2022, and we got a lot to talk about this morning. We've been focusing on the 2020 midterms lately, and today is no different. Bernie Sanders is hopping on a tour of some battleground states. He's hoping that a tour of some battleground states will help Democrats during the midterm elections and the continued and growing racism in school. We're going to talk actually more about that in a later program. Just thought we'd bring that up. Also, Kanye West continues to sit down with anyone who will have him. His latest is an interview tour. On his interview tour included Chris Cuomo on The Nation and Piers Morgan. But the family of George Floyd said they've had enough. They've launched a massive lawsuit. And if it's successful, that would severely cut into Kanye's quote unquote billionaire status. We discussed all that and more this morning with Oshia Boy. What's up, Oshia? You on mute, Oshia.
Now I'm unmuted.
You
Good
sound
morning.
a lot better when you're not on mute.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Fine. How are you doing? I'm so used to the producer Greer back there unmuting.
I know she's falling down on the job back there. No, I'm just kidding.
No, don't say that. Don't
Yeah,
say
I know. Got us all scared of Greer. Listen, Oshia, Bernie Sanders says he's planning an 8-state blitz with at least 19 events over the final 2 weekends before the midterm elections. He's looking to rally young voters and progressives as Democrats confront daunting national headwinds. Sanders is going to begin this push in Oregon on October 27th. You know, Bernie Sanders has been a very interesting individual in Congress, on the Senate, and his run for president a few years ago. He still wields a lot of something that, unfortunately for the president, he doesn't will, and that is a youthful base. And how important is Bernie getting out there?
I'm sorry. I'm laughing because it makes me laugh. And I'm not trying to be ageist at all, but it makes me laugh that someone pushing 80 is the person you're going to energize the youth. What is going on in the Democratic Party that they can't get young people, I mean, people who are actually their age to energize them? What is that attracts Bernie? What attracts them to Bernie so much and not people even their age? It just baffles me. It baffles me.
But you know what? And you're right. Here's the thing too, though. He wasn't asked to do this. He saw the need. According to his camp, he saw the need. No one asked him. He says, "Look, I don't like where things seem to be headed, so I'm going to get out there." And it's so interesting because I don't know if you remember, Oshia, when we were in Cincinnati. The NMPA was in Cincinnati in 2019 for our convention there. Bernie, everyone was running for office, and Bernie was the one who showed up. And Bernie had all these young people run up to him. They wanted to talk to him. They wanted his autograph.
The Bernie Bros.
And he spoke so eloquently to the young, and it seems like he knows how to connect. So in that sense, why isn't everybody else taking notes?
True. Why aren't they taking notes? I just think the Democratic Party is in such a weird place, tenuous at best right now. I don't know what their message really is, other than we're not Republicans. I mean, right now is the prime opportunity to actually create your agenda, create and let people know what you're standing for. And they still seem to not have done that very well. Hence why Bernie says it's not working out for us. We have the elections are coming up soon. I mean, in a couple of weeks. I'm looking at my calendar. Yeah, in a couple of weeks. And if he's saying it's critical time, let me get out there. and risk getting sick. It's still we still have COVID.
Mhm.
He's an older man. You know, this is not easy on the body traveling and doing these rides, but he's risking all of that, his health and body be damned for this party.
Yeah, he said, "I am a little bit concerned that the energy level for young people, working class people, is not as high as it should be." He says, "I want to see what I can do about that." And he's going to Oregon, California, Nevada, Texas, and yes, Bobby Henry. He is coming to Florida, Orlando to be exact. Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. He's taking this tour, this Bernie tour, burn baby burn.
Well, well, the groups that he mentioned, the demographic groups he mentioned, you have to wonder why isn't the Democratic message resonating with them? These are people who are traditionally Democratic voters.
I think.
So,
Do you think, Oshia, that we've been talking a lot on this program about their messaging or a lack of, and they focus on certain things that they don't understand. That while it might be important, it might be something that their older constituency wants to hear. They they fail to realize that it may not be that important to the young ones and also
mhm,
the core base. You
mhm,
know who their core base is.
mhm, mhm,
It's black people.
mhm,
And
mhm,
so when you ask about folks being a little disenchanted, um, it's not because they're galvanized by Republicans. It's just that they simply are disenchanted with Democrats, and that's a dangerous place. We've seen that constantly with the elections. It's a dangerous place for any party to be when you have your core constituent. Like we saw Trump galvanize his base. We
mhm,
we, we see DeSantis continue that same base. He continues to galvanize of doing things that they can relate to. So,
mhm, mhm,
what the Democrats failed to do to this point is pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, pass that Voting Rights Act that most Black people want, and some other it's one of those that I can see this, I can feel this.
mhm,
Whereas
mhm.
they're doing some consequential things that you can't really see or feel.
Well, and they get caught up on issues that are very important. Yes, very important. But is that what your base wants? Is that what your base is trying to tell you to focus on? Um, and it just becomes we're the party that's not Republican, but that's not enough. That's not enough. We're the party that doesn't hate. That's not enough.
Right.
People need to see actual tangible things happening, and they're not really seeing that.
Yeah, because
All we're getting is rhetoric.
Yeah, because certain groups are just used to being hated.
Mhm,
You know, well,
mhm,
like we can speak for Black people. We're used to that stuff, right?
mhm.
So that's a message that uh, it's not going to resonate,
Well,
right?
they're banking on abortion. They're banking on abortion rights. That is
We
that is a very big issue, but it's not the only issue. And
Ochia,
everyone doesn't care about that the way some people do.
right? We had Keisha Lance Bottoms on yesterday, and one of the questions I posed to her was the fact that you have a lot of Black people, and they talk a lot about, and Bobby Henry's on. He talks a lot about the Black church. Well, a lot of folks in the Black church, they're not with that abortion
Mhm,
stuff. It's
mhm.
yeah, they're all for women's health, women's you could say women's right to choose, but when it comes to that, they're like, you know what? I kind of that's a moral or immoral thing, and they don't that it doesn't resonate.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
So to try and ride that wave to the election day is, as I said to Keisha Lance Bottom, isn't it kind of dangerous?
Yes, you're missing a critical part of your constituency, of your voters. When you It just lets me know that Democrats just paint everyone with a broad stroke. You're Democrats, so you must believe in this. There's no one really talking to their demographics, to the different socioeconomic classes. Um, Blue collar workers. What are you doing to attract blue collar workers? I'm very confused at how so many blue collar workers are leaning Republican when Republicans are doing everything really against blue collar workers. But somehow that's not seen because of what is said. The sound bites sound good. Democrats, we've talked about this before on this show. Their messaging just it just sucks.
Yeah,
And I
Bobby.
don't know when they're going to figure it out. I mean, how long will it take for you to figure this out? People are
Well,
literally begging you to figure it out. We're literally telling you what you need to do, and they're still not doing it. Individually, yes. On a
yeah,
broader scale, no.
yeah, yeah. Bobby Henry says, when you talk to me about things that matter to me in the language I understand, then you can engage me and get my attention. But you're right. The messaging has been, but it's just not been. It's not connected. Whatever that message might be, and that's just it, right? I'm saying whatever that message might be, and so we don't even. What is the message?
They're easy to ignore. Just
Mm,
very easy to ignore.
yeah,
I have no idea, but I tell you what, I heard Herschel Walker's name a bazillion times.
right.
But they're just easy to ignore.
Yeah, and so David Youngblood writes in that Democrats need to hit back with a sledgehammer, go on the offensive. Are they even capable? You have to wonder, right? As a whole, I mean, you have some Val Demings. If you saw the debate with Marco Rubio, I thought she did excellent
Hmm.
from the parts I've seen. I didn't see the
Hmm.
entire debate, but from what I've seen, I saw her challenging Marco Rubio. I saw her hitting him with some serious blows there that maybe Senator Warnock did not do with Herschel Walker.
Is that going to be enough, though? I think what part of the problem is, and it seems it's very childish to say this, but people look for personalities in
Mhm,
politics. They just do. People gravitate toward personalities. We still haven't got savvy enough to just only pay attention to the record and what they're doing. We gravitate. That's why you have the Rubios, the descent, the Trumps, because people love someone with charisma.
mhm.
And do Democrats have charisma? Are they seen as boring? Like I said, you just kind of they're just out there, but you don't pay them any attention. Why is that? You have
Yeah.
to have something, and that has nothing to do with policy. It has nothing to do with policy. But that is unfortunately where people are. Bernie still has personality.
Yeah, and Bernie has a lot of personality.
People
Bernie's a
are
progressive.
attracted to personality.
Yes, and that's yep, yep. I was gonna say that, O'Shea, and you know who's connected at the hip with Bernie, it was just so interesting. Have always been so interesting to me. And you talk about personality is AOC. I
Hmm.
mean, you say what you want about her, she connects with
She was
young
one that
ones. She
came to
connects
my
with
mind.
older
Yeah.
ones.
Hmm.
She she's
Hmm.
very charismatic.
A lot
Um,
of people don't like her, but that's what happens when you're charismatic
right.
and you're a firebrand.
Yeah, but she's very intelligent too.
Mhm, mhm,
And so that this is where I say when they talk about and I was talking about this about that when they go low, you go high. That's out the window, right? But
mhm.
she knows how to do both, but do it when she can get in the mud with you, she
Yeah,
can do it in an elegant way. I
yeah.
really like her.
Yes, you
I
can.
I don't like I said, only cover politics. I don't get involved, but I like her. I do like her. Um, and so only because again, she's very charismatic. She does not, as we used to say back in the hood, back in the day, we don't. She doesn't take any shorts. Um,
Yeah. No
Greer says,
shorts, no losses.
yeah, there you go. Greer says a lot of. She reminds me a little bit, maybe a lot, in my view, of Jamel Hill. I
Okay.
AOC and Jamel Hill would make a great conversation, I think, together if they haven't already had a conversation.
Mm,
I would love to be in a room for that conversation. Greer says a lot of young black men are listening to Killer Mike. That's interesting, right? I
mhm,
mean, that
mhm,
again, Ice Cube did his contract for America a couple of years ago because he understood that there's going to be a lot of black folks listening to him, right?
mhm.
So why not try and if you're Biden or the Democrats, why not reach out to a Killer Mike and see what kind of common ground you can find? Why not reach out to an Ice Cube and see what kind of common ground you can find? But I even with that, I like Ice Cube, but to me, you still got to get younger. Ice Cube is like my age,
Yeah, Ice Cube is in his 50s now.
but
So
she said, Killer is not the Biden type. But that's the point. You got to reach out though. You got to find out because he has a following.
yes.
and then
So
you say,
part of my
why is he supporting Brian Kemp? Why at least find out why Killer Mike is supporting Brian Kemp.
and so I'm thinking about when I was younger and I listened to back then when Ice Cube definitely was, talking about politics and stuff. Um here's part of my issue with listening to and it's not because they're rappers, but why so many times, and I understand that black men listen to these people, do politicians go after black celebrities, not black academics, not black people who actually know about politics, who actually do politics. I understand what Greer's saying, black men are listening, but they're kind of listening to people who are learning themselves, who don't know. They're not political science majors. We have to also elevate who we listen to in our knowledge base. I think that is part of the reason why we are stuck figuring things out, because we're still listening to people who don't know much more than us. And I'm not trying to be disparaging at all to Killer Mike or anyone else, but he's not an authority on politics.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yet we think they are because they talk a little bit of politics, because they know enough and they get active, and they should be active, and he should. But it's like, why can't you lead these people to someone who knows more than you? Why can't you bring that person into the forefront and bring them over to this person and say, okay, let's have a conversation because these people know politics much better than I do. Why is it that you're centering yourself when you don't have the knowledge?
Yeah. Well, I'll leave it with what David Youngblood writes in: stop using entertainers as our influences, which
Yes.
is what you're saying. And Bobby Henry says the other people are trying to paint Val Demings as an angry black woman. Of course they are. And he
Mhm.
says, I do believe this is what we'll leave it with. Bobby says, I do believe that little Marco Rubio was standing on a box so he could look at Val in the eye.
Wow.
Bobby, Bobby coming and taking names.
Shots fired.
Listen, Oshia, we ask this question periodically, and I don't know if it's a rhetorical question at this point or not, but is Donald Trump going to jail? A federal judge on Wednesday ordered the release of emails from John Eastman, a former Donald Trump attorney, to House investigators, saying the communications were made in furtherance of a crime related to Trump's efforts to subvert the 2020 election. The federal judge simply said this. This federal judge said there is more than enough evidence that Trump, at the very least, this is what the federal judge said, committed obstruction of justice. You got the January 6th commission giving you mountains of evidence. Now you got a federal judge, not to mention what the prosecutors in New York who quit earlier. People forget that story. Earlier this year, a bunch of prosecutors in the Manhattan District Attorney's Office quit because they said that the DA did not want to go pursue Trump. These prosecutors said that there was much more than enough evidence needed to show that he was guilty of several crimes. Now you have a federal judge, Oshia, saying that he's guilty at least of obstruction of justice. What's going on here? Where's Merrick Garland?
This just exhausts me that we are still this man still has a foothold on this country. Um and I don't understand, first of all, why his base thinks he's Jesus. Why they think he can do no wrong. And we've been shown time and time again, has been doing wrong for a very long time. He's just slippery. He just finds a way to weasel out of it. And hopefully, at some point, he will not be able to weasel out of it. I'm just so sick of Trump. I really am.
Well,
Him and Kanye.
well, speaking of somebody who think they Jesus, listen, what more can we say about Kanye? But Roxy Washington, the mother of George Floyd's daughter Gianna, has moved to file a $250 million lawsuit against Kanye. They're seeking $250 million in damages. They recognize that defamation is not the avenue to go because by law, you can say whatever you want about a dead person. You cannot defame him. But they're saying what they're citing is harassment, misappropriation, infliction of emotional distress. So they also, though, here's the other thing. They also have put Drink Champs, Candace Owens, and others on notice that we're going to expand this, and you're probably going to be included.
Mhm. I'm not understanding why Candace Owens is not in there initially. Since Kanye said it was from her documentary that he learned these things. So, I'm thinking, if you have a documentary out, then why aren't you suing the producer as well? Because this is spreading that misinformation, disinformation. Um, but I understand too that nobody's really going to watch that documentary.
Well, at the time, that's it. Well,
Kanye,
she though,
Kanye is what uh gave it some feet. He
yeah.
Now everybody's like, oh, documentary, because Kanye brought it up.
Well, in fact, the lawyers for the Floyd family said that they are now going to watch the documentary and see, where Candace could be liable also. So yeah, they're going to watch because, like you said, Kanye brought this to the fore, and he doubled and tripled down. And Kanye's out here apologizing for the anti-Semitic remarks. However, he's on the Kanye apology tour for the anti-Semitic remarks, but he has not in any way backed off of the George Floyd comments.
Yeah,
When
because
in
Kanye
fact,
doesn't care about black people.
well, and that's just it. And he's making that Kanye is making that clear. He
Hmm.
has morphed into the male version of Candace Owens,
Hmm. Well, if
and
you recall, several years ago, he was begging for white approval and to be allowed into white spaces. He was begging, why can't I be in Fashion Week? Why aren't they? He was begging for white approval.
mhm,
He finally has it. Um, so when I noticed that a few years back, I decided I was done with Kanye then.
yeah.
Um, so what he does now, I'm just like, I've been washed my hands of Kanye.
Yeah, and remember, this $250 million lawsuit is on behalf of Gianna Floyd, George Floyd's daughter. George Floyd's family, his
Yes.
brothers and others, with Lee Merritt, the civil rights attorney, and they are planning to file their own suit as well. So I would imagine that once the filings are complete, you're looking at probably double the 250 million. And Kanye, and the only reason why I keep highlighting the number, the amount, and David Youngblood says, I hope Floyd's family gets Alex Jones's money from him, um, is
I
because
thought about that.
Kanye says constantly, I'm a billionaire. You can't
Yes,
touch me.
he
You can't
does.
tell me anything.
Yes, he does. Because Kanye truly believes, I think, I don't know him, so I can't say what he believes, but it seems like that money insulates him. That money will make him be able to say whatever he wants to say. I really, what hurt me as I thought about it after all those things were said, is Kanye didn't care anything about George Floyd's family. He didn't care anything about, and nor did Candace Owens.
Well, that's to be
The
expected,
fact
right?
that you, yes, but the fact that you're caping for this white man, that you actually want to disprove what now, aren't we told so many times that, well, the court said it, He's been convicted, so it's over. But when it comes to a white man, we want to still disprove, and we want to go
Well, and
against what
Derek
the court
Chauvin
said.
pleaded guilty. He admitted to what he did.
But we don't care if it's a white man. We want to fix it because it's not right. But all the times that it happens to black people, we're told, oh, it's that's the law. That's the law. So it really bothers me that Kanye is caping. I don't expect much from Candace, but that Kanye is caping for this white man, and yeah, as Greer said, she's been talking about him since day one. She's
Yeah.
been on this whole fentanyl. He died from fentanyl since day one. I mean, she just paired in right wing rhetoric out there.
When the
Kanye has a platform to actually help, and he really hurt, and he didn't care about the family, the daughter. You know, I listened to Kanye, and I was just like, wow, you're really saying this stuff in public.
and she did and Candace did the same thing with Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah.
This is her thing, right? She hates her own skin, and she's demonstrated that time and again. So, like you said, it's no surprise there. But you remember too, and to your point though, Kanye looking for acceptance from white folks. Um, Kanye was the one who wore the MAGA hat and said slavery was a choice.
Yes.
You know, so can so we you're right. You got to expect these things from Kanye, but because you expect them from Kanye, doesn't mean that he's not civilly and otherwise liable.
No, he's still liable, but I do find it interesting again that he's gone on this apology tour for only the anti-Semitic things.
Mhm.
Nothing, and no one else seems to care about the anti-black rhetoric.
No, and it goes back to our original premise when we wrestled with even discussing the Kanye situation. But some things are the so-called elephant in the room, and you gotta at least get it out the way, right? But one of the things that we kept talking about with Kanye was the fact that he the responsibility of black media is what our premise was, right?
Mhm.
What
Mhm.
responsibility do we have to if he was sitting with a black man? Nori's not a journalist, right?
Mhm.
But he still it was under the premise of an interview, a journalistic interview. So what responsibility do we have, Oshia, to not allow such um, misinformation on our platforms
I think
and to
anytime that
check
you're,
them.
I think as well, I'm a journalist, so I obviously I'm going to say everyone should check. But I believe that that is part of the problem today is we don't push back enough. We have too many people doing too many interviews who aren't journalists, who have no training in journalism, and even those of us who are journalism still don't push back and check you. There used to be a thing when you said something that we knew was false, we countered that.
Hmm.
We countered that information. Now, if you watch the whole clip, Nori did, in his defense, he did push back. He didn't promote that, but he just seemed a little dumbfounded and a little bit like, I don't know what I'm supposed to say here. Uh, this is my friend. This is my
This is
friend.
my
But
right,
you could just
right,
see the wheels spinning and trying to figure out. And it's drink champ. So yeah, he's probably
right.
drunk. So then you're not thinking
Well,
it's
and he also
you
looked at
know,
it. This is my meal ticket too, because
yeah,
the hits keep coming. They keep it's all about the clicks, right? Because
yep,
enough clicks translates into a lot of money.
yep. Until he started realizing it was pushback. It was people coming at him like, Nori, you messed up. So, because at first it was all fun and games.
Hmm. It was all fun and games at first, but and Greer points this out too, and she's right. I was thinking about the same thing. Cuomo and Pierce talk more about the anti-Semitics and less about Floyd, and that's another issue there. Kanye's doing his tour, his interview tour. Um, you know, I don't even want to. I want to stop short of saying you. I don't know what to say as far as whether or not we want Kanye on our platform at this point.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, okay, does black media allow him to come on the platform? But yeah, that's a tough one because in some ways you just want to like ignore him, but he won't let himself be ignored. So I think, and would he come on black? Would he come on black media?
Well, right. Well, that's a whole nother thing that we talked about too. He'll want to come on once the handcuffs go on. I made that speech the other day about these black celebrities and black. And look, y'all gonna hate me for this, but that goes for Obama as well. Obama has ignored us forever.
Yeah.
During his presidency, after his presidency. I have personally called his office a number of times, and not to come on the show, including coming on the show, but just for comments on certain things that he would give comments on. And we repeatedly repeat, and it's not just me, others in the NNPA family, many others in the NNPA family of newspapers and media companies. They come when they start, and they come when they get in trouble, when they get when they slapping around their white wives, when they go OJ killing his white wife, when there's some drug charge or something, then they want to come back to the black press. It's
You
just
better tell the truth and shame the devil.
it's just the truth, right? It's the
It is
truth.
the truth. It is the truth, and we have to stop that.
Yeah.
We can't allow that. We can't allow that. And I think in some ways it's our fault too of how black people have not elevated themselves politically, because we allow these people to come and we don't want to talk bad about black people. We don't
Hmm.
want to put our dirty laundry out there for about black people. So the fact that we're talking about Kanye shows that at least we're making that move. But our political figures, the ones who are seen as iconic, and we can't touch them. Back in the day, you had the grandmothers with the picture of Martin Luther King and Jesus, and then you added
Hmm.
Obama up there. Uh,
Yeah.
but they're not infallible. They're people, and if
Yeah.
they're not treating the black community right, I don't care who they are. We need to call them out. We need to hold them accountable. Period. And if they're not coming to black media, I was going to say invite Kanye. I'll come on.
We would need
Invite
you to come
Kanye.
on. Yeah, because David Youngblood is saying, yes, invite him on and then hold him accountable. And too
Because I
many,
got questions, Kanye. I have some questions.
I got questions too. We've David, it's true. We fall victim to that star mentality and fail to charge them up. That's not me, David. I do not play that you are star, this and that. I might enjoy your music, I might enjoy your acting or whatever, but you out of line. I'm ready. I'm ready for that. I'm
Wrong
ready
is wrong.
to take you to task on that. And you can
Wrong
say
is
I'm wrong.
wrong. Wrong is wrong, though.
Yeah.
We cannot uphold wrong just because they're black people. We can't do that. We have to stop that. And we have allowed that to happen for so long. For so long, I mean, we still have people arguing that they love R. Kelly. And
Yeah.
they'll,
Wrong is wrong.
yeah.
And you love his, and see, here's the thing. This is the thing that people need to get in their heads once and for all. You mentioned R. Kelly, um, and any others. You don't love them. You love their art, their craft. It's a difference. You don't, but they become fans, and what's the word fans? It's short. It's a shortened
Fanatic.
version of fanatic, right?
Because
You
Prince didn't like
don't
that
be a
word.
fanatic. I love Prince, right? He's dead. I love Prince. I used to love Michael Jackson, right? He's dead. But the thing about it is, in my view, Prince never stepped out of line like that. So but in my view, like Michael did some things. Whether no matter what you think of Michael or whatever, he did some things, in my view, that was not quite right, and I had to me divorce myself from that, and I can separate myself because from that, understanding that this is the greatest entertainer ever to live,
Mhm.
Michael
Mhm.
Jackson. However, this is a very flawed person. And you got to be able to separate that.
Yeah.
You're
Bill
giving them money.
Cosby.
They're not giving you money.
Right. Bill Cosby. I mean, I've interviewed Bill Cosby. So I was so excited to interview Bill Cosby. This was back a few years before everything, but we still heard rumblings here and there, but you forget those things. But I interviewed him, and he said a couple things in the interview, and I was like, ooh. Bill
Uh-oh.
Cosby is not. It wasn't anything, but it was like, oh, Bill Cosby is not Bill Cosby I see on the Cosby
On
Show.
the Cosby Show. And that's the thing, right? He's playing a role, folks.
Mhm.
You know,
Mhm.
that's and my wife says that all the time too. They playing a role. And half the time, these guys don't even know who they are because they play so many different roles. They don't even know, they don't even know who they are. But that's the thing. This David, I'm glad David Youngblood brought that up. That mentality. Many journalists, unfortunately, they go into that as fans and not
Yes.
as truth seekers,
Yes. Yeah. And we have
and
to.
that's a problem.
I think we're not looking at it as how does this benefit community? How does
Mhm.
it benefit black people? And like I said, if you're harming black people, I don't care who you are, then we need to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
If you're not being honest with black people, then we have to take you to task. Um, like Greer saying in the chat, black progressives aren't coming. Why not? This is where you reach audience. This is where you can actually let your hair down, so to speak, and get real.
Hmm.
But I
Well,
think
with
many of
that,
them,
Oshia, there's a question: has black media lost its way?
I would say there's so many challenges. So I'm not going to say it's lost its way because I know individually papers and publications are doing, but there's so many challenges um, that there's just so much to worry about that you can't even yeah, and Greer, social media, and we so many black publications are behind as far as digital, as far as
Hmm.
using websites. Um, our audience is still using print, so that's where we tend to stay. Um, but not recognizing that the because it takes manpower to do your website properly.
Hmm.
And if you only have a small office, I mean, I had a newsroom of three when I worked for the Recorder. I had a newsroom of three, me and two reporters.
Mm.
So there was only so much we could get done feasibly in 24 hours. I mean, and
Right.
really, we went over an 8-hour day. So you have those challenges, and then you have everyone, and so many people don't even read what we do. They're just looking at posts on social media, um, and formulating opinions based off of 240 characters on Twitter, or or what they see on Facebook or or TikTok. Now everybody young is on TikTok, and you got videos talking about what they're doing. So and we have to learn how to get into these spaces to actually do journalism differently. That's
Hmm.
what the problem is. We're not doing journalism differently to meet people where they're at. We're still thinking they're going to come to us, and it's been proven they're not.
Right, right. And it's true that a lot of these celebrities, they are managing their own social media, so
Hmm.
they don't feel the need to talk to journalists.
Mm-mm.
I mean, look, um, whoever sits down with Beyonce, whoever sits down with Jay Z, he'll go make an appearance here and there on the Breakfast Club. That's true, but he won't come to the black press.
No, and they're not journalists. They're not journalists.
Right.
And he knows he's gonna get questions because they've probably already talked about what to talk about. But it's gonna be things that he's okay with, he's comfortable with.
Hmm.
Um and Jay-Z is not, and again, we're talking about someone that's a celebrity.
Hmm.
He's still not he's not progressing the black community in the same way people out there doing the real work are. We tend to
Hmm.
look at the celebrities as, oh, they're billionaires, so they have to be doing this, and we want to follow suit. How many other billionaires are there? Like in
Right.
our,
Right.
he's one,
Black or white, for that matter.
right,
Right.
right. Who are the ones we don't promote? We don't promote the right people ever. We're looking to the Jay Z's and the Beyonces to lead the way.
Yeah, which is a shame. Which is a shame. And to Jay, and we have to say this about Jay Z. He certainly does a lot of great black causes. He does put his money. He's a businessman. He does put his money behind some
Yes,
serious the situation down in Mississippi with Parchment Prison
yes.
and other things that Jay Z has been doing. I'm not a Jay Z fan, but I'll give credit where
Yes,
credit
and
is
I don't
due.
wanna I'm not trying to take anything away from what he does.
Yeah.
That is awesome. He should use the money, that black folks have given him.
See, there, there it is. Keeping it 100, as they say. That's why I like Oshia, because you're right. You're right. And that was my point too earlier, too. That's part of my point earlier. Listen, y'all walk around here worshiping these people and these people looking down upon you. You're the one that made them billionaires. You're the one that made them wealthy, right?
You
They
should take
should,
you should have some ownership in that.
right.
I
Eh,
made you. You didn't make me.
Without you, without me, there's no you. But and it's true. And so the bottom line point here is that, as already been stated, they come on your platform. Don't be a fan. If they come on your, you can fanboy or fangirl outside of that if you want to. But once they're on the path and you set yourself up as a journalist, or if you are a journalist, your job, your commitment to your readers or to your listeners or viewers or whatever is totally different. So
Mhm.
now you got to fulfill that commitment. You have to fulfill that commitment to them, and not this personal. Oh, I got a chance to talk to Kanye. Oh, I got a chance to talk to Jay or what. So what? That and $2.50 will get you probably a hot dog on the street.
And I think part of it too is if you are not journalism, then just don't pretend you are. When I was growing up and I would listen to interviews because I still love listening to interviews. My daughter, who is 18, is like, "Oh, why are they talking so long?" I'm like, "This is an interview. This is what you wait for to get the juice to get all the tea about them." Um, but we knew the lines weren't blurred. The lines were not blurred. It was very much.
I'm
It was very
sorry.
much.
I'm so unprofessional right now because Greer just typed something in that made
Yes, I see, and I don't know what this is about. So I have to get the insider
we had Lisa
information.
Ray McCoy on the show, and
Okay.
she says she thought I was going to ask Lisa Ray to. I'm done. Listen, no, I like Lisa Ray. She's not, she's not Rihanna, she's not Naomi Campbell, but she's Lisa Ray. She's
Yes, she
not,
is.
what's her name, Megan Good, but she's Lisa Ray.
She was all that back in her heyday.
She's still all that. I like her. I
No,
think
she
she's.
she
I
is.
think
She
she's
is.
still. I watched her with my man Country Wayne, and Lisa. I give her big props, Lisa Ray, because she said, "I am not Lisa. I am Lisa Ray." Her
Yes,
father
don't
named her
mess
Lisa
up.
Ray. Yeah,
Don't mess up, Lisa
and
Ray.
and and, and she hasn't aged much at all.
No, no, no.
Good for her. But they say, black don't crack. Is that true?
Black does not crack. Mm-mm. It does
I'm
not.
done with Greer. That's it. I can't mess with her. Anyway, this now has dissolved into a personal attack
Right.
on me. So I can't. I have thin skin on that, so I have to go. We're gonna have to end this program right now. Oshia, boy, we really appreciate you so much. She got black
Thank
press
you.
running through her blood.
I do.
That's
I do.
absolutely. We appreciate that so much. And listen, Ashia, if we decide to have Kanye on our program, we
Oh my
calling you up.
gosh. Please let me start getting my questions ready now. So I can be professional and polite.
Should we have a drink?
He might need to have a drink. I don't think I need to have a drink. I might lose a professionalism.
Certain words start flying, right? Oh gosh. Well, everybody, we appreciate you joining. Let it be known. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.